Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Art Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today we have Rebels versus Empire once again for you. We've got a lot of medium base ships on the board, a couple of small bases and a very, very large ship for you. It's going to be Assault at the Satellite Array today. Ben is piloting the Rebels and Andy is piloting the Empire. So let's have a quick look at those lists. So we do have Ezra Bridger in the Gauntlet with Compassion, Chopper Crew, Perceptive Copilot, False Transponder Codes, Nightbrother, and the Swivel Wing config. We've also got Gerrera in the U-Wing with the Child, Tactical Officer, Contraband Cybernetics, and the Pivot Wing. We've got Bodhi Rook also in the U-Wing with Fire Control System, Hera Syndulla, and the Pivot Wing. And rounding off Ben's list, we've got Magva Yarro with Jyn Erso, Perceptive Copilot, and the Pivot Wing. Some very interesting combinations there. Jyn Erso is going to be absolutely key for getting some interesting combinations of tokens out there on the board. And on the other side, Andy is running the Empire. It's a lot of TIE fighters, three big old boys. You've got the TIE Brutes there with Flight Leader Ubbel with expert handling, sync laser cannons, and the target assist MGK 300. Rampage also with expert handling, sync laser cannons, target assist, and also the agile gunner. Littendry with proton cannons and the target assist, and 4 Academy pilots, all with targeting computers. So a lot of health on both sides of the board. Absolutely no shields for Andy. So he is going to be hoping that crits do not come into play here. But we can see all of the U-Wings are tightly packed up in that top corner there. So looking to stick together, looking to really capitalize on the abilities there. So we sort of touched on it earlier, but Jyn Erso is going to be quite a key piece here. So if a friendly ship at range 0 to 3 would gain a focus token, it may gain an evade token instead. Now, the U-Wings cannot natively get an evade, so having access to that is going to be really handy, especially with the Perceptive Copilot on Magva and the Perceptive Copilot on Ezra as well. They can in fact get a focus and an evade token, which is going to be really, really frustrating for Andy, having to get through all of that health. A good set of evades there as well, actually. The U-Wings obviously have 2 evades as well, and you back that up with an evade token, it's going to make them really tricky to get through. So that's going to be quite interesting there. But we've got the 4 Academy ties currently just zipping down the bottom of the board, probably looking to swing right in and try and catch those U-Wings in the side. They can be quite frustrating, only 2 points apiece, and again they've got a lot of evades, which we saw last week with my game against Wes. Obviously loving seeing these TIE Brutes on the board. TIE Brutes, so cool. I think they're just such a fun ship with the way their cannon mechanic works on there. So if you haven't seen the Brutes for a while, or you've not seen them before, they all have the inbuilt ship ability, rotating cannon. So you can rotate your turret arc indicator only to your front or rear. You must treat the forward arc requirement of your equipped cannon as the turret. So they can zip over the top, turn the turret over and shoot sync lasers or proton cannons or whatever out of the rear, which is absolutely brilliant. It looks like Lytton is feeling very, very, very brave there and just going straight in at that big rebel bulk. One of the nice things about TTS, obviously, is realizing that that gauntlet is going to be blocking a lot of the view, so it's just shading the gauntlet down so we can see where it is. We can also actually see what's behind it, and more crucially, we can actually see its firing arcs as well, which is quite nice. And we can see with Jyn Erso trigger in effect there, Magva and Ezra both have a focus and evade right now, so that mechanic is already coming into play. And with the child on Saw, that has actually been selected onto Rampage and Flight Leader Ubbel. They're the ones that have the Merciless Pursuit token applied to them. Ooh, just out of range there for Rampage to grab a lock. Probably looking to try and chuck that onto Ezra, but False Transponders has already been removed. But this could be a rough ride for Lytton right there. Definitely got Magva. Yeah, it's gonna be a rough ride there for Lytton, but range 3 gonna give them the extra evade. Ooh, 2 hits and a crit straight away. This is where not having shields is going to be kind of brutal. That is a hit and crit straight away onto Lytton. Hoping not for a weapons failure. That looks like Disable Power Regulator? Yes, Disable Power Regulator. So fortunately with this, it's a medium base ship, so does need 2 ions to trigger that. Oh, but it is range 2 from the Gauntlet. Ben just struggling to get rid of the arc indicator there, but let's see. Oh, that's not a great shot. He does have the focus there, though. So the target lock there is assigned. Saving the target lock, spending a force. And 2 damage going through halfway through Lytton's health now. Fortunately, still up, no weapons failure, which is actually quite handy. And obviously got the targeting assist MGK. So before you engage, if you have no green tokens and you are not stressed, gain 1 calculate token for each enemy ship at range 2 to 3 in your firing arc to a maximum of 2. So just checking that over just to make sure that that is... There's 1 calculate. Should be 2 calculates really, but it is going to be a proton cannon. Looks like that's going into Magva. Ooh. 2 hits, 2 crits. With the proton cannon, should be flipping that up to a crit actually. So yeah, there we go. So hit and 3 crits. We're definitely going to be taking a shield off of Magva here, but Magva does have that focus and evade, so it's a very tricky one. And yep, there we go, spending that focus. Only 1 shield down on Magva. That Jyn Erso Perceptive Copilot combination is massive. That is so powerful. Just absolutely taking a proton cannon and coming away with just 1 shield is insane. Point scoring there. Ben has quite an advantage with the number of ships he's got and the size of the ships, but it is just 1 point apiece there. medium and large bases both count as 2, and they counted each other out in that central objective. So, but here we go, the ties are coming in up the board. Oh, that's an unfortunate bump there from Brown. Looking like they were all trying to do that too hard, but apparently that too hard would not have fit past there, so... Interesting, and it is a damage on Brown as well, which is very much less than ideal. Oh, that's an aggressive jump forward there from the Gauntlet. Taking advantage of being I3, getting into position, getting those tokens, looking to be an absolute nuisance to listen there. That's actually a query. Litten or Lighten? How do we pronounce that? We're just saying Litten, it just feels right, but at the same time, is it Litten or is it Lighten there? Let's see, so just double checking the target assist. So it would be in your firing arc. So if the firing arc is rotated to the back, it would be in the firing arc. But going to take a calculate there, more than likely anticipating that, yeah, here we go. More ships are coming in. Things are going to get a bit ropey for Litten. So looking to take that calculate to see if it can keep them alive and then potentially get them a shot afterwards. So if they can spend that calculate, then they would potentially regain it back, although I don't think anything's going to be at 2 to 3. But let's see where Rampage goes. Rampage in a nice spot there. Looks like Magva is the target of choice. I fully agree there with that selection. Magva, Jyn Erso on there is so powerful, and also Magva's ability, one friendly ship at range 0 to 2 defends. The attacker cannot rerun more than one attack die. Big 5 points, big pain in the butt. Definitely the right idea to take it out, but it looks like Flight Leader Ubbel has managed to get himself a nice cheeky range 3 shot. Only one ship at range 2 or 3, but he's going to gain a calculate. He's got the lock onto Ezra as well, so that calculate is going to mean no range 3 bonus for Ezra for the sync laser cannons, as long as Ubbel doesn't need to spend it, but he's got the lock. That's a tough decision. You could spend it, but it does then give Ezra the range bonus. Gonna use that lock. Oh, the lock paid off. 3 hits into Ezra there. Gonna force the expenditure of the evade, so 1 shield down on the Gauntlet. It's a start. Respective range 3 shot, not bad at all. Now, Ben does have initiative, so he's going to move to Saw and Bodhi to shoot first. And looks like only range 2 onto Lytton, but I think that was always going to be the target anyway. All of these brutes are only 4 points apiece. That is big. That could be, and that's why Andy took the calculate. So it is 2 crits. See what those crits are. One of them is a direct hit. just waiting for those to pop up. So we've got a direct hit, a disabled power regulator, and a weapons failure. Weapons failure is awful. That is not the one you really want, but to be honest, Lytton staying up was key. Oh, that's a terrible shot there from Bodhi. Gonna have to spend that lock. Got the focus, but only needs to push one more through. Oh, rerolling all three, and there we go. That is going to be Lytton very, very much down. 3 hits and a crit. And doesn't look like crit was going to be doing much, but that is initiative kill on Lytton there. So that is a nice 4 points for Ben. Unfortunately, with that position, I didn't think there's really going to be much that Lytton could do. Was more than likely going to be going down this round, which is a shame for one of the newer pilots that we can see on the Brute. But Rampage is up now and is going to gain 2 calculate tokens. Has got the lock on Magva, so can just go. There we go. There's the calculates. So I anticipate sync laser cannons into Magva Yarro here. Again, the focus evades on Magva. Just gonna make it so hard to chew through. Got the calculates, probably best to. Yeah, you've got the lock there, so probably better to use that. Probably just have a look at his abilities, but it is after you execute a speed 3 to 4 maneuver, you may choose a shift your firing arc at range 0 to 1. That shit gains 1 strain token or 2 strain tokens if you're damaged. And again, just to pick it, so rerolling 1 with the lock, spending the calculate on the other. I don't think it's terrible, but got the focus token, so absolutely no damage there. So, I mean, feeding ships into that big cluster is not the best idea. You really wanted to go in all together and just absolute weight of fire, strip those tokens, then start stripping the health away, but have to wait and see how it goes here. Coming back from Magva, 2 hits into Rampage. And the evade. Nice, just 1 damage on Rampage there. I do like the Brute. I am a big fan of this ship. I think what you can do with it is quite fun. Having no shields makes it difficult. It makes it very tricky, and oh, that's a very big shot from Ezra. And saving that calculate for there, so 2 more damage into Rampage. Does mean that Rampage's ability will now confer 2 strain tokens if they do the 3 to 4 maneuver. But let's have a look. Do any of these TIE fighters have a cheeky shot? Pink and white may. Yes, white has a really nice range 3 shot onto the Gauntlet. Don't anticipate much happening out of this. It is 2 versus 4 because of the obstacle. Nope, nothing from white. Let's see what pink can do. Pink can score 2 hits here. But again, would need to be a full blank out to get anything through. Oh, not far off, but spending that focus No damage on the Gauntlet. I think against a list like this, plasma torpedoes could have been really handy, but Ben is rocking up into an 8-3 lead here. Obviously, number of ships outweighs in the middle, so he's got the top 2 objectives, that middle objective, the one from the previous round, and 4 points for Lytton, giving him a very commanding lead. 2 objectives scored by Andy down at the bottom with those TIE Fighters and Ubbel. But the TIE Fighters are about to join the fray now, so it will be interesting to see what they can do. Oh, that's a very risky move from White, straight over there, gaining a strain and an ion token there for going over the obstacle, but more importantly, not landing on it. So that is very aggressive there. And looks like we're going to be targeting Saw, probably anticipating that Magva is probably not going to be in an ideal position to shoot. And Last Academy just moving up there, trying to keep a range of that bottom left objective. So put himself out of position last time, but you know what? It could be okay for point scoring. Ooh, big jump over from Ezra. Curious now as to what Ubbel has done. Is he going to be able to fit in there? Has he gone fast? Has he turned in yet? Where will Ubbel end up going? And Magva has actually turned into those academies. I think might be just out of arc there for pink, or it could run literally right down the side. Hard to see, but maybe having that lock there from blue could have been quite handy. But Saw and Bodhi moving up into a nice position, putting themselves in a bit of an awkward spot for Rampage to have to deal with. Let's see where Rampage is going to end up going. I'm just waiting on the actions for Saw there, so focus for Saw and Bodhi, bumping with Rampage, taking that red focus. Oh, Ubbel doing a shorter maneuver, fitting right in front of Ezra. That could be quite dangerous. That's a forward-eye shot that can go into Ubbel, but Ubbel also could lock Magva and just think, go for it. Although does catch Bodhi right at the back there just with that range 3. So we'll see where that lock is going. Okay, so that lock... No, that lock is actually going into Ezra there. So are we seeing... Again, should be 2 calculate. There we go, there's the second calculate. 2 calculates there for Ubbel. Is Ezra... He is going into Ezra. So taking that range 1. I actually think maybe Magva would have been the better option, but... Nice, spending the calculate. So 3 hits into Ezra. Does he spend all the tokens? So spending the evade, spending the force. So just the 1 damage. Shields down on the Gauntlet. Still a lot of health there. Would be really nice if we had some more shots going into the Gauntlet. Again, this is where I think it's going to fall down a bit for Andy, is not having that weight of fire into a single target. So far, Ben has been able to sort of, through lack of other options, but he's been able to put all the fire into one target, taking out Lytton in one hit, in one round. Rampage is in a tricky position, but he's at range 2 of Ubbel, so Bodhi taking the shot, 3 hits going through, or 3 hits scored, and 2 going through, but that is going to trigger Flight Leader Ubbel. After a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 defense, if it was dealt a damage card, you may perform a bonus attack against the attacker. So Rampage is going to get to jump back in there and do a bonus attack against Bodhi. Got the calculate, doing sync laser cannon, so does not get the additional. Double crit, that's not bad for a bonus attack. And that is going to be a shield down onto Bodhi there. So for a cheeky bonus shot that you didn't realise you were going to have, that's not too bad. So we go back into the initiative. We're going to go back to Saw next. He's going to see, can he finish off Rampage? Not directly like that. Would need to spend... So yeah, just hit crit going through, and that's a direct hit onto Rampage. Rampage is down, but Rampage does still get to shoot in the initiative 4 step. Range 0 into Magva, range 1 into Bodhi, range 2 into Saw. I think you're best up. The number of dice, I think you've got to go into Bodhi. 3 dice versus 2, got no mods, though could have gone into Magva and tried to strip those tokens, but just the 1 hit. So could have stripped that focus there or evade off of Magva, but you know what? Rampage is down. It's not looking particularly great. That is another big 4 points for Ben. He is 60% of the way to victory at this point. But the TIE Fighters, they can be a pain. So let's see Magva and Ezra up next to shoot. I think Ezra might... No. I think it's going to have to be into Ubbel. Again, 4 points, range 1, no... Like, just 1 calculate. It's such a big opportunity there. And Ben's still really struggling to get rid of the arc indicators on that Gauntlet. Oh, looks like we're actually going into white here. So 1 damage on the White Academy. Unexpected change of approach there. I really would have anticipated going into Ubbel. Oh, that's a terrible shot from Magva there. Only has a focus to change that if she wants, but that saving it for defense, I think, is the right option. When you've got, I mean, this TIE fighter's got 3 evades apiece, so not ideal. And we saw the lock pulled up on Saw a minute ago, but white is going to go into Bodhi there. Just the one. No tokens for Bodhi, but he gets that evade. Again, this is starting to really get a bit of a struggle there for Andy. He's not got the ideal positioning. If he'd have put that lock onto... Okay, ignoring the lock, going into Bodhi, going no tokens, best options, so 2 hits. Gets them through onto Bodhi, so that was the right option there. Shields are now down. Range 2... Looks like Pink Academy is doing the same. Just the one. Oh, but it is evaded this time. Still not great there for Andy, and that is some big scoring there from Ben. 15-4 going into turn 5. This is... It's very much an uphill struggle now for Andy. I just don't know if he's got the firepower to really do this. I mean, if he'd already had 1 ship down, or all shields down on all ships, then maybe, but this position is pretty awkward. Doing a 1 bank ion with white, who doesn't end up who doesn't go anywhere. Pink is going to drop herself right in the middle there, and a bump from blue. That bump on the game mat does trigger through as being into Magva, who initiated the bump, and brown just swing around, trying to keep in range of that objective, and see if you can put some guns in onto Ezra. And Magva still bumping. Now getting the 2 tokens, obviously Perceptive Copilot. So the way that one reads is after you perform a focus action, which you can do after you bump, gain 1 focus token. So it's not take another focus action. And with Jyn, if a friendly ship at range 3 would gain a focus token, it may gain 1 evade token instead. So Jyn and Perceptive Copilot do work nicely with bumping. And a rotate there from Ezra, going to be triggering the Nightbrother. After you reveal a non-blue maneuver, if you are stressed, you may spend 2 charges to gain 1 focus or evade token. Now that does not trigger Perceptive Copilot, because Perceptive Copilot, as we said, specifically says after you perform a focus action, whereas Nightbrother is gaining a token. So the wording on that is very specific. You cannot trigger Perceptive off of Nightbrother. Ooh, Bodhi swings in and bumps right into the back of Magva and causes some damage. And Saw Gerrera also bumps. Just having a double check as to where that bump would have initiated from, whether it was actually initiated from the Academy or Magva. Great thing about obviously TCS, you have the little game window in the corner that tells you all of the interactions, so just quickly having a check through that. We'll see. No, it looks like it was triggered by the Academy, so that is fine. Ubbel bumping straight into Ezra. Based on the distance for Bodhi and Magva, not even going to bother looking at taking a red focus because he's going to get calculates anyway. Absolutely love seeing target assist MGK on those brutes. I think it is a great option. Obviously, the maneuver assist is pretty cool as well, reducing your bank maneuvers, but I think gaining those calculates, allowing you to go target lock, potentially double calculate, I just think it's just the right idea. It works well with sync laser cannons as well, which was what we're getting into Bodhi. That is pretty damn awful. Gonna have to spend both calculates there. Does mean... Ooh, and they go through. That would have meant, obviously, if Bodhi was at range 3, he would have got that range 3 bonus there. But not at range 3, so I didn't get it. But 2 health left on Bodhi. This could be the time. Gonna need to work through all of the shots from Ben though, so Bodhi first. Where does he go? White has got 2 left, so could go into white. Got a nice range 1 shot there. Or could pivot down to Ubbel. Ubbel is range 2, only 1 of 8, so... But it looks like we're going into white. Range 1, 4v3. Nothing. Although Bodhi is damaged, so Saw, while a damaged friendly ship at range 3 performs an attack, it may reroll 1 attack die. There is that reroll for Saw into a blank. Academy is proving to be quite lucky there. And now Saw's turn himself. Got blue, got white, got pink, but it's range 0. Looks like we're probably going to be going into white. Can't quite see that. I think it's range 1. No, range 2. But 2 hits there. Does he spend that focus? Does he try and take white out? Or does he spend the force on the child? Annoyingly, unless the ship natively has the force, it's really difficult to try and actually manipulate the force token on there. Ooh, that's a really... I mean, it's an obvious one to spend that focus, but if he hadn't, possibility that Ubbel could have got the additional shot there. Not sure if he had... No, actually, I don't think he had range 3. Very close, so looking at the arcs there off of Ezra. But again, it's another range 1 shot into that White Academy. Something about that Academy TIE Fighter that Ben has just taken a disliking to, but he gets triple natties. So again, that TIE Fighter is not going to take any damage there. He is laughing that away. I think Andy kind of would have liked him to take 1. Just to trigger Ubbel. But Magva is up next. I fully anticipate a range 1 shot into blue. Whilst he's got more health, get the additional die, can modify that shot as well. If had rolled paint, no damage on blue, so we're not going to see an additional shot from Ubbel this turn. But you know what? Taking no damage on your ships is probably better than getting an additional shot. So we've got long bomb shot from Brown, we've got range 2 into Ezra, or could do a range 3 all the way down on to Bodhi. Oh, actually gonna look and see what else we got there. So checking the other one, so Pink only has into Soar, so looks like we're just going to clear that shot out the way. 1 hit, 1 evade. If it was me, I would probably go. I would go blue into Bodhi right now. Blue has the focus. Well, actually, if you try it with white, if Andy can take out Bodhi with the white tie at range 1, then can switch over onto Saw, which blue actually has the lock on. Oh, it's not going to work like that, unfortunately. Oh, but does get 1 through. Although apparently, no, it looks like we actually missed one. Bodhi is down there. That must have been from the bump into Magva. We must have missed that when we were doing the overlay. But that is Bodhi. That is absolutely perfect. Blue now has a double modified shot into Saw Gerrera there. Lock and focus. I think now that is ideal. Got the focus, spend that lock. Spend that focus, 2 hits into Saw. Does he get any through? Gonna get 1 through. So 1 shield down on Saw Gerrera. It's only small, but it does start things happening. And then final shot is going to be from Brown. This is going to be into Magva as well. Interesting. Nope. Switched over to Ezra. I think that's the right option there, to be honest. 2v2. Double hit. Getting 1 through. So, Ezra is down to 8 hull remaining. Points-wise, looking at it, Ben is going to sneak that middle objective because of the position of Ezra there as well. So it's going to be 3 more points to Ben, 18 points to 9 in Ben's favour. So right now, 13.5 minutes on the clock. It is Ben's game to lose here. He would somehow have to not score anything on objectives and lose everything this next turn. I mean, the win condition for Andy is to somehow take out Ezra and Magva this turn, or even Saw. Not very likely, but let's see what the score is going to be. That's a K turn in there from Pink. White just 2 banking, was stressed, it couldn't K-turn, not enough space for a K-turn. Bump there for blue, which is actually technically triggered by white. Another damage! Those TIE fighters bumping into each other have not had much luck. They've been chipping those holes. And Brown again bumps. No damage this time though. So let's see what these rebels are doing. Magva just too over the top. Looking like she's going to be in range of possibly 2 objectives there. But that middle objective highly likely is going to be scored by Ben there. But want to see where is Ezra going to go, and then where is Saw going to go in reaction to that. Jyn Erso is such a powerful card. Such a powerful card. And, Ezra managed to fit that in no bump. So he has 2 nice targets to try and take out. Where is Saw going to go? He is stressed, so can't do a stop. He is currently in a pincer movement from pink and blue as well. Oh, bumping straight into white there. And where is good old flight leader Ubbel going to end up? Oh, looks like that bump was again actually triggered by a friendly. No damage though, which is good for Ben. He has an awful record when it comes to self-bumping. He pretty much, I would say, 85–90% of the time will always take damage from a self-bump. But Ubbel is in place there. He's got to put that lock. Yeah, he's got to put that lock onto Saw. I think that is the right option. 3 ships going into Saw. Gonna get 1 calculate there, yeah. So sinks laser cannons into Saw Gerrera. Would need some very, very good dice for Andy to take him out, but that's not particularly great. Magva stopping the double reroll there. So only one of those is going to be able to be rerolled with that. So if he's... Andy's going to have to spend that calculator if he wants to try and put any damage in. Again, Magva, just such an absolute powerhouse there. A great ability, great combination of upgrades, just really keeping Ben's ship safe. But if you can fit all the ships around Magva with Perceptive Copilot, you are turtled up so well. Let's see, we've got white, we've got Ubbel, we've got brown with Saw Gerrera. Who is he going to try and take out? And it's going to be into Ubbel, hit crits. Taking both onto Ubbel, but he is going to be able to trigger his ability because it's a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 and you are friendly to yourself. So Ubbel is going to get another crack at Saw there. It's a disabled power regulator again on Ubbel. But can this be a bit more of a successful attack here? Just 2. But this time it does actually land. So both shields down on Gerrera. It's up to pink and blue to really hammer home this advantage. Gonna need a hull breach, fuel leak, or direct hit in there somewhere. And absolutely 0 evasion from Saw to bring him down. Won't really make a huge difference in this score. Again, looking at this positioning, that central objective. Say that if Saw goes down, that central objective is actually contested. But looks like going into blue. Oh, that's not bad. Spending that force, that's 4 hits. Oh, blue is going to be lucky to survive this. Blue is not surviving that. Blue is down. That is the 2 points that Ben needed. Ben has already secured the victory there. But we will need to see where we end up overall. But that, yeah, that was big. I think we've got 1 shot left now, and that is from pink into Saw. Yeah, it's going to be the final shot. So Gerrera is going to stay up. Looking at the positionings, at least another 2 points for Ben. Depends on how close Magva is to that bottom left-hand objective. Got the lock. Probably going to roll both there. More than range. Oh no, it's the defender. So yeah. So that is going to be at 20 points there, totaling up those extra ones. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 objectives there. So a lot of points for Ben. 23 to 10 in Ben's favour. That top right hand one was actually contested by the 2 TIE fighters there. But there we go, guys. That is your game for this week. It was Rebels versus Empire. It was a stunning victory for Ben. I do think Andy's this up against anything but the Jyn Erso Perceptive Copilot chunk would have probably done quite well, actually. I'd love to see that again on the table to see how it does. But in the meantime, guys, that is your game for this week. So thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.